I just missed a very important call from Addie's school, Part 1. My 17-year-old daughter didn't want to go to school this morning. She had hated school since she was little. In kindergarten, she used to run around the house screaming, refusing to go. When she started high school, problems arose. She started skipping classes, threatening self-harm if I made her go. It was always the same excuses that she was depressed and had anxiety. Buzzwords she'd learned from TikTok. Standing in the doorway of my room, arms folded, Addie was adamant. "I don't feel well," Addie said, up to her usual tricks. I knew them all, her wide eyes and attempt at looking innocent. I glimpsed a red mark where she'd placed a hot water bottle on her forehead all night to fake a temperature, and my personal favorite, the very obviously fake coughing with zero wheeze. I knew all of them because I was the same as a teenager. Sticking my mom's thermometer in my boiling chicken noodle soup was a highlight. My daughter, however, was an amateur at best. Find out what happens next in Part 2. "I'm sick, Mom," she said when I sat up, propping myself on pillows. I squinted at her in the dull morning sunlight filtering through the blinds on my windows. She did look a little pale in the cheeks. Why not eat some breakfast? I could practically see the cogs turning in her brain. "I can't," she said. "I feel really sick." "You were okay last night," I challenged her. And when she pulled a face, I sighed. "Go and get ready for school, Addison." Her eyes widened, lip trembling. She knew I knew she was faking, which was the worst part, because now I was the bad guy. I was a bad mom. I'd heard it all before, that she hated me, that she wished I were dead, slamming doors and screaming at me. Before she could emotionally drain me, I rolled over in bed. "Get ready for school. I won't tell you again." Find out what happens next in Part 3. Against all odds, Addie did get ready for school. I was trying and failing to feed my 2-year-old son, Harper, when she crashed into the kitchen, slamming doors and cupboards. I noticed her hands were trembling while making coffee. "Eat something filling for breakfast, sweetie," I told her, spooning pudding into my son's mouth. Addie ignored me and grabbed a candy bar, slamming the refrigerator shut. "You missed my drama presentation last night," I sighed, scraping pudding from baby Harper's mouth. My son giggled, spitting it out in a liquid slew. "Let me guess, I'm a bad mom," I said, swiping at Harper's chin. "Addie, when you grow up, you will realize the world does not revolve around you." I nodded at the state of her ratty pigtails. She was paler than earlier, wearing clothes she'd slept in. Shadows underlined her eyes. "Did you even wash your hair last night?" I let out an exasperated sigh. Find out what happens next in Part 4. I was so tired of having to remind her about basic hygiene. "When are you going to start looking after yourself? Honestly, Addison, you are 17 years old, and I have to keep reminding you to shower." Addie didn't look at me, leaning against the refrigerator, one leg crossed over the other. "Can I talk to you?" "After school," I said. "You're going to be late for the bus." Addie didn't move, her gaze glued to the floor. "Mom, can we talk now?" She was interrupted by a sudden knock on the door. "Can you get that?" I asked, lifting Harper from his high chair. Addie didn't move. "I don't want to." "Addison," I warned. "Answer the door." My daughter left the kitchen, and I could hear her cautiously opening the front door, followed by a voice cutting through the silence. "You, Mrs. Haverford." Robbie, the neighbor's kid, strode into the kitchen, his arm flung around my daughter. I smiled. "Hello, Robbie." I greeted him. Addie didn't move, staring at the floor. Find out what happens next in Part 5. The two were already playful. She snatched her hand away from him, and he grasped for it, squeezing tight. I had no idea she had a boyfriend. "Addie, have you been spending a lot of time with Robbie?" Robbie grinned. "Me? With Addie?" He laughed explosively. "I mean, sure, your daughter is really something, Mrs. Haverford." I felt pride blossom inside me. Addison was my beautiful daughter. Of course she had a boyfriend. "Language," I told him. I nodded to Addie. "You two should head to school." Robbie saluted me with 2 fingers. "Yeah, we'll see you later, Mrs. Haverford." He gently shoved Addie towards the door. "Addie, be safe, all right?" I said. "Don't do anything I wouldn't do." Robbie smirked, pulling Addie toward the door. "Wait, me and Addie? You're not serious, right?" The door slammed shut on the two of them. Loud laughter drifted from outside. 6 teenagers stood in our yard. They must have been Addie's other friends. 2 girls waved, and I waved back. Thank God, my daughter actually had a social life. Find out what happens next in Part 6. Addie texted me at lunch with 2 words. "Mom, help." I texted back, half watching Harper splash around in the tub. "Help with what?" She replied instantly. "Am I a bad person?" I turned off my phone, tucking it into my pocket. Teenage hormones. At 2 p.m., I was bouncing Harper on my shoulder, trying to ease his screaming. I turned on the TV and flicked through the channels. Active shooter. I flicked back, my stomach twisting in my throat. There is currently an active shooter at Hartley High School. A frazzled news reporter stood outside my daughter's school. 7 kids have been killed, 3 injured. Right now, the shooter is described to be a no. With trembling hands, I pulled out my phone and switched it on. I texted Addie, my heart pounding. "Addie? Addie, talk to me, baby. Addie, are you okay?" And then I saw it at the top of my notifications. 4 hours ago. Addie. 1 missed call. Follow for more horror stories.